Greetings, I am Hee Cho and I am here to present to you the role of transfers in the provision of water, an application to public-private partnerships and its impact on social welfare. Since the 1990s, public-private partnerships, or PPPs in short, became a popular contractual agreement in providing water supply and sanitation services, especially in developing countries because of its realities of poor water supply and budget constraints. However, despite the advantages of the PPP frameworks, critical challenges remain, such as the presence of information asymmetry. Since two entities may have varying motives, which is the government and the concessionaire, wherein the government's objective is to maximize project benefits and the concessionaire's objective is to maximize profits, the information gap widens. The existence of hidden action and hidden information hinders the project from realizing optimal results. To address information asymmetry, having a well structured contract is vital in ensuring that provision of water services under PPP is welfare improving and delivers favorable results. Using transfers as an instrument to elicit truthful information from the concessionaire minimizes the information gap. Given this background, we aim to characterize transfers for water related PPPs with adverse selection and moral hazard. By achieving this main objective, the paper would be able to provide imploratory information applicable to developing countries on number one, the role of effort in the provision of water, and number two, impact of asymmetric information on social welfare. To achieve this objective, we mainly adapt the principal agent framework with models on information asymmetry from Lafont and Tirole. With government as the principal and the private sector as the agent, and where the project aims to maximize social welfare, each stakeholder in the framework is represented by a certain or its respective welfare functions. The sum of all the welfares would then give us the social welfare. Here, there are two situations: information symmetry and information asymmetry. For transfers under symmetric information, the government observes the cost and is knowledgeable of the values of beta, which is a firm characteristic underlying its cost, and also the effort E, which is the effort exerted by the firms. Meanwhile, for transfers under asymmetric information, the government does not observe beta and cannot distinguish the difference between beta and effort in the cost function. The optimal mechanism is where the firm is incentivized to declare its true cost type. Here, we show a summary of our analytical results from the maximization of social welfare, where we examine two transfer schemes. Number one, fixed payment transfer, and two, cost sharing transfer. We see that quantity, in this case the number of households connected to water, is higher when cost sharing transfer scheme is used. Meanwhile, effort that firm exert is higher under fixed payment scheme. And lastly, optimal transfer is higher in cost sharing. With regards to the beta of a low cost firm, utility is higher for the firms under cost sharing as they are able to receive higher transfers dependent on the quantity. Meaning, especially when high volume projects are carried out, firms derive higher utility levels under the cost sharing scheme. Meanwhile, the beta of a high cost firm indicates that their utilities are both equal to zero. This proves that the participation constraint binds. With regards to social welfare, we observe that the social welfare under the fixed payment is higher than the social welfare by the cost sharing scheme. We see that the cost sharing scheme is more negatively affected by the shadow cost of disutility factors and distortionary arising from sharing costs. To discuss the results and to conclude, in this paper we introduce two transfer schemes, namely fixed payment transfer and cost sharing transfer. Both methods aim to maximize social welfare subject to participation constraint, moral hazard incentive compatibility constraint, and adverse selection incentive constraint. We find that concessionaires prefer the cost-sharing transfer scheme as it allows them to exert less effort while receiving a higher level of transfer. Meanwhile, the general public prefers the fixed payment scheme as it has no welfare loss arising from cost-sharing of disutility factors. As a result, as long as the concessionaire is capable of monitoring these utility factors, it would opt the cost sharing transfer scheme as it allows him to exert less effort yet receive more transfer. Additionally, the role of shadow cost factor plays a significant role in obtaining the social welfare. A lower value of D improves social welfare, while a higher value of D worsens social welfare. This prevails how important transparency and accountability in implementing projects are. In developing countries where D may go beyond 1, fiscal inefficiency is distinctly higher than developed countries wherein its D is approximately zero point 0.3 only. A significant portion of the social welfare diminishes due to inefficiencies in the usage of taxes to fund the project. With this, I conclude the very short presentation of our paper. For more information, you may contact us in the given contact details here. You may email us. Thank you very much.